housing affordability, but Londoners disagree.
Yeah, Australia does have something to learn from this development. Don't do it this way.
We could no longer afford the type of properties they were building there, and the compensation that we're actually given by the local authority gave us very little choice but to move outside of London.
Those stories coming up on AM.
AM this morning at 8. Know the story with ABC News and Current Affairs.
Notice a new host for AM. Her name is Sabra Lane. There's also a new theme song. You'll hear that at 8 o'clock this morning. But as we talk first day experiences, good and bad, how about we turn to someone who has, well, hit the halfway mark, so to speak, in his 5-year term as the Queen's representative for the State of Queensland. I'm talking about the Governor of the state, Paul de Jersey. Welcome to ABC Radio Brisbane Breakfast.
Good morning, Craig, and to your listeners.
How do you celebrate the halfway mark?
By reflecting, I suppose, on what I would like to regard as achievements, mainly substantial interaction with the people right through the state.
Take me back to your first day, Governor, if you don't mind, because I just had to roll a set of desk drawers about 10 metres from one side of the ABC office to another. You effectively get to move house.
Moved house. And unlike you, Craig, on the 29th of July 2014, I didn't have to get up at 3:15am.
Well, consider yourself lucky.
Mind you, last night I didn't sleep too well because I knew I had to come here this morning.
And it was so hot as well last night. Yeah. But what was that experience like?
It was an amazing experience. I was sworn in that afternoon with great ceremonial. It was quite an awe-inspiring experience, and which of course emphasised the importance of the role I was assuming with my wife's support. And then after the ceremony at Parliament House, we moved back to Government House, as you say, changed houses, and proceeded up the driveway with the police pipers in front of us, the driveway lined with students waving flag from my old schools and our new neighbour, Milton State School. And then my wife made her, as the Governor's standard was unfurled at Government House with the arrival of the new Governor, my wife made her wonderful statement to the young kids that she would like to be the grandmother of all of them.
And you've made an effort to really open up Government House much more to the general public, us plebs, if you don't mind me saying so, Governor. What's the reason there?
We really want to promote greater understanding of the role. My little niggling fear when I took on the role was that it might be regarded as anachronistic in some quarters, and probably it is, but by far the majority of Queenslanders are enthralled by the role. They're captivated by it. They want to understand it. They have an insatiable curiosity about what a governor does, and it all has a contemporary connotation. For example, one of the ways we're trying to open up the role and increase understanding is through engagement with social media.
Well, you're quite active on social media.
I have 4,500 Twitter followers, 5,500 Facebook followers, and 425 Instagram followers. But that's because we only recently introduced the Instagram.
So, yeah, everywhere where we are, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram as well. Well, and in speaking about the role, just chatting to a few of my friends over the weekend, and I said you were coming into the studio, and they said, what does the Governor do? Does he just host swanky parties? And I'm using their words here, Governor. How do you respond to something like that?
Well, we have lots of people come through Government House all the time, and they're not swanky parties. They're parties for all Queenslanders. One of the most poignant memories from last year, for example, was welcoming Gladys Gercho to Government House, who turned 100 last year, and she lives at Buderim. Kay and I called on her for morning tea up there. It was a wonderful event. It was supposed to take 20 minutes, took an hour and a half. And then we invited her to our Christmas event at Government House and made a fuss of her, and she was just terrific. But they're not swanky parties. They're parties for all Queenslanders, and the guest list is quite Catholic. You know, it's across the board.
Are there cucumber sandwiches?
Yes, there are.
You travel around the state quite a lot as well. How do you see that divide between city and country right now in Queensland in 2017?
Well, I think there is a bit of a divide, and I think it's something that needs to be looked at all the time. Last year we went to Longreach for 8 days. We effectively transplanted Government House operations to Longreach for that period. In the course of that period, we visited 8 outlying towns, right down to the Diamantina Shire. And that was an amazing experience. The people loved it. It was wonderful to listen to them, to acknowledge their positions, to encourage and to learn. For example, it was then that I learned a fair bit of detail about the cluster fencing project, which amazingly could see the revival, in effect, of the wool industry in Queensland.
Yeah, decimated
the
by
wool
wild
industry,
dogs.
which was so important back in the 1950s, but then died out because of those wild dogs.
Yeah, you see now less than 10% of the flock that used to exist in Western Queensland.
Yeah, but I think the governor has a potentially very important role in fostering good relations between the city and the country.
A question here coming from Mornings presenter Steve Austin. Why is the vice-regal vehicle always black? Governor, Paul de Jersey.
Well, it's not actually. The current one is blue.
There you go. Steve Austin. So, and is that your favourite colour? Is there a reason for the blue?
Oh, I imagine it's royal blue. But the Rolls-Royce is blue. Actually the Caprice, which is the second vehicle, is black. I think they tried to get blue for that, but they didn't. They didn't make them in blue.
And the Rolls is your personal choice rather than the Caprice?
Well, the Rolls is used for occasions when the people will like it.
Yep.
I take the Rolls to Executive Council meetings every Thursday, and the gazes as we move down George Street are quite remarkable. The people love it, and they love it at the Ekka, of course, which is very important. And then there are the more sombre occasions when it's completely appropriately used, such as the dawn service
for
on Anzac Day.
For the next 2.5 years, Governor, what do you see as your vision for the role and how it will unfold from here?
My vision for the role is continuing to interact with as many wonderful Queenslanders as I can. This is an amazing state, Craig, and it's an extraordinary privilege to be able to move about it to the extent that I do as Governor.
Because you've had a career of service in public life. You're one of the youngest to be admitted to the bar, then as Justice, Chief Justice, and into the role as Governor of Queensland. Public service, that must sit with you, your ethos so well, Governor. Why is that the case?
Because it's not a burden. It's a delight. It's a delight to be able to meet all these people and to do one's best to sort of encourage and inspire them. I think it's just an amazing state. I mean, we've got this terrific natural resource all around us. We've got amazing tourist attractions, but even more significantly than that, we have our committed citizens, committed to one another, committed, dedicated to their state. There will be challenges this year. There'll be natural disasters in all likelihood, but that's, of course, where the resilience of our people cuts in.
It certainly does. Queensland, it is a great state. Governor Paul de Jersey, we've had only a matter of minutes to look back at your 2.5 years so far in the role. It's a traditional 5-year term as Governor of Queensland. Thanks so much for joining us on ABC Radio Brisbane.
Thank you, Craig, and all the best to all your listeners.
Governor Paul de Jersey at 7:20.